Hi guys, it's Sarah from isweariamstitching. Today is August 29th and this is episode 66. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. If you're an oldie but a goodie, thanks for coming back. That was cheesy as hell. This is a Flosstube where I talk about cross stitching. It's my main hobby. It's been my main hobby since I was like 8. So, you know, a long ass time. But I also knit and sew, quilt. Uh-oh, beagle wrestling. I have 2 beagles. One likes to bark and be noisy. The other one's deaf, so she can't really hear anything to bark at. Anyways, 2 weeks went by because I knew if I did one last week, there wouldn't be much to show from last week to this week. So I just held off to do a 2-weeker. My phone is kind of cockeyed. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about life later. I'm sorry about the window. Oh, my phone's got a mind of its own and it wants to not stay put. My tripod ring light thing broke forever ago and I just haven't bought one. God knows if I ever will buy a new one. Maybe I'll put it on my wish list for Christmas. We'll see. Anyway, so I've got some finished objects to show you. One FFO, it's itty bitty. Whips, plans, giveaway. So I'll start with the FFOs. That is not a faux, that is a work in progress. Okay, so I had to move everything over here, so now everything's kind of scattered all about. I'll start with the non-cross stitch FFOs to get that out of the way. Okay, so I made a baby quilt for my son's best friend and his girlfriend. They're expecting a baby in February. I made the quilt top. I haven't quilted it. I have months and months to do that, so you know, it's coming after the holidays thing. But it is the Layer Cake Lemonade quilt from Fat Quarter Shop. I used some leftover fabrics I had, and then the main fabric is Wild Things fabric from Betsy Cyber. So I'll show you. They're having a baby girl, but I'd already bought this fabric, and I was like, babies don't give a crap what their blankets look like. It's more for the parents, and this has adorable animals on it, which I know that the parents are going to enjoy. So a baby girl quilt doesn't have to be girly, pink and purple. This is greens and tans and blues and cute as hell. Ow. Ta-da! Super easy pattern. It's called the Layer Cake Lemonade because you're supposed to use 10 by 10 layer cake. And that's what, you know, 10 by 10 layer cake, you sew those together. Look how cute those fabrics are. Oh, so cute. And then for these ones, you sew 10 layer cakes together, and then you sew in a strip and then cut the strip in half. Well, I didn't have layer cakes, so I just cut 10-inch strips, 10-inch blocks, and did it myself. But I didn't have quite enough fabric for the 10-inch squares to be completely all one. So some I had to, like, you know, sew together. As you can see where the fox has, like, it doesn't match. I have like 4 blocks like that. But once the quilting's done on it, you're not gonna tell. And I'll just do straight line quilting. Probably like matchstick quilting. It's not even ironed because I'm gonna fold it up and put it away until after the holidays. Isn't it cute? I love it so much. I'm trying to figure out what my favorite fabric is. Okay, so I have, okay, this one, look at the little foxy and the little raccoon and the little froggy waving. And then on this one, look at the little friggin' pig. He's adorable. And little tiny chickens. And then I just love all of them. The beluga whale, the octopus. Turtle's got a little hat on. And then that's the same one. And then this one, it's probably my least favorite. It's cute, but I don't like the white. But look at the elephant and look at the little toucan. I think it's a toucan. So cute. So cute. Baby quilts and lap blankets are the only things I quilt myself. Everything else gets sent off to be quilted because I love my machine, but I don't like where it's located. It does not handle a lot of fabric well, and I just don't like quilting. All I ever do is straight line quilting. I hate quilting. Let's see. Now it's time. Oh, nope. I have one more. So, bonus child's oldest dog, Izzy, had a massive tumor. She's had it for like, well, she's had a tumor for like 4 years, and it recently got to the point where it's so big that it looked like it was going to burst and was causing her discomfort. She was around 13, I think. So they had to put her down the day before bonus child went off to college. So Amber, she's very jingly under there. Hey, sweetheart. Whipped up this pillow for her to snuggle with the day before. It's from Hello Sewing. It's a heart-shaped pillow. You'll still remember I made one not long ago for another friend who lost a pet. Oh my god, camera. But I whipped it up real quick, and bonus child's favorite color is yellow, and this pattern is shown in like a fuzzy fabric, which would work a lot better because it would hide the imperfections of the wonkiness of the sewing that someone like me does. But all I had was solid, and I didn't even have enough of one color yellow to do a side, so there's a dark yellow on the front and a light yellow on the back. And then for the patch, I used a rainbow white because she, you know, Rainbow Bridge and all. But I gave it to her and she's taken it already. But see how wonky it is if I'd used like a... Of course, I literally have to whip this up in like half hour before we went out. Before I took her and my kid out. Amber, Jesus. So I stuffed it real quick. And I didn't have time to, like, you know, fluff it. And before I just got a picture real quick, and literally they pulled up. I gave it to her in the car and we drove off. So it'll look better once she's hugged it a few times and flattened it out. But there we go for her Izzy, her pit bull. Those are my non-cross stitch finishes. Oh no, it's a trash man. My dog's gonna bark. Daisy, come here. Sorry guys. Here, Daisy, go outside so you can park outside. Maybe it won't be as loud to the poor people who are watching. I'm gonna have to stop recording on Tuesday, guys, because of trash man. Trash men. Trash bros, trash guys. Sorry. And my only FFO is this mini spool I did. I decided, I had this mini spool and I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to try to use 40 count because I've never used 40 count. I have two 40 counts to try. One from Bestitch Me and one from, I believe, Kaylee 10 Stitch. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. I do not have the eyes for 40 count. This is the smallest project I've ever done, and I hated every stitch. And I don't know if I had bad lighting, if my eyes were tired that day to boot, but I may end up giving away my 40 count at some point because holy crapola. Anyways, this is my mini spool. There's no roll pattern. I can't remember. I think I got the stars and the bats on it from like, I grabbed a random pattern out of my folder. Some primitive person. Oh, sorry. But it's Bestitch Me, color 310 and 40 count linen. Just a little star and little bats and DMC. And then I didn't want to glue it on the little spool this time because I love this little spool and I didn't want to get glue on it. So I half-assed sewed it on. It's fine because you're just gonna see this part. I think it's adorable and I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's gonna be a cute little spool for my dough bowl. I was considering getting a little bowl to put spools in, but we'll see. I don't know where I'd put it. But yeah, that's my FFO. Try not to make eye contact with the trash men. Okay, and then my last finished object that I'm so proud of is I finished my Move Forward in Love by Modern Folk Embroidery on 32 count Lugana in Harvest Moon by Color and Cotton 2/2. 1/1 was like 1/2. Look how pretty she is. Now I know we all point out where we've made mistakes, and then everyone's always like, well, I would have never noticed. But I feel like I have to point out my mistake. Right here, it's supposed to go straight across, down. See how they all go straight? Well, I got off by one, and this is like literally one of my last parts I did, and by the time I was like, no, I'm not fixing it. I don't care. I don't care enough. I'm not fixing it. How pretty it is. I was afraid that forward would be lost in that bright yellow, but in person it stands out, and even on the camera it stands out pretty well. I was thinking of turning it into a pillow for my couch. I don't know. Just like all the other 500 finished objects I have in my box that will no longer close. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But she is pretty. Gosh, she's so pretty. Oh, I'm just glad she's done because it took way too long to finish, and I was rather sick of the repetitiveness of it, of the same motifs over and over and over again. I was sick of it. Yeah, and look, I put it right in the middle of the fabric because, you know, why not? Look at all that fabric I wasted. That's not going to be enough on either side for a quirky Quaker. Maybe down here. If I cut it close, I might be able to put some quirky Quakers on there. Maybe. In a million years when I get this cut and made into something. And now it's on to whips. Sorry, nose itchy. I worked on, let's move this out of the way, that's, okay. So I didn't do the fandom stitching, excuse me, prompts for a little bit because I was busy. But I did in the last 2 weeks, and it helps me touch more things. So go Team Dwarves. I worked on, oh my gosh, this is what happens when you don't put your stuff away, and I got thread and needles all over. Okay, so I worked on, remove this thread, remove this thread. Okay, Owl Force Embroideries Monster Wonder Whale. It's 32 count linen that came in the kit, and I'm using the overdyed flosses that came in the kit, and it's 2/2, and I love this so much. I'm a little obsessed and I don't want to stop working on it. Just reminded me that's kind of how I feel about another project. Anyways, so I worked on, for my prompts, I worked on like this little house up here and this little boat. How cute that is. I love this project. I mean, the fabric's not awful, it's not my favorite, but I love the threads. I am a little sad that the two yellows are very similar. Let me show you. These two are very similar to each other. See how similar they are? I mean, they look definitely, like I could definitely tell them apart together. But then especially once you get them on the fabric, you kind of can't tell which is which. Like, pretty sure these three ones use both of them, and I can't tell them apart. But anyways, super cute, and I love it, and I'm gonna work on it some more. Oh, I love it so much. I think I just may have zipped to my thread. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see. So that was my whale. And then I worked on Halloween at Hawker and Hollow, which is by Carriage House Sampling or Samplings. Why can I never remember if there's an S on that? Do you guys do that? Your brain's like, I don't know. Sure. Samplings. The Carriage House Samplings. It's on 18 count Ada by To Dye For Fabrics in Ash and Tan. Again, I cannot say enough about this To Dye For fabric. Like, this Ada is fantastic. but we've all seen it, but here it is anyways. Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. So I finished that one and almost finished that one. I ran out of blue for the middle section of the water and moved on. And now that I'm on a new block, I probably won't finish that mermaid block with the blue until I take the Q-snap off. But I asked my husband to pick a number, and he picked 11, which is the train block. So I started on the train block. It's ashen tan. You're probably not going to be able to see very well, but it is gorgeous. Oh, you can kind of see it. So yeah, like I said, these are for prompts, and I always do the, there's two levels, a ring wraith and white wizard. A ring wraith is 50 stitches on a prompt or 100 penalty. That's what I always do. That way I feel like I've touched some stuff, but I'm not committed to a larger number. You know, I can move on if I get bored, if I'm like, this fits the prompt, but I really don't want to work on it anymore. So I got started on the border, and the sign and the birdie. And this is just 1/2, like I said, DMC. You see I started that scarecrow block a while ago and abandoned him. But yeah, so this, I'm very indecisive, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do him or start, like what block I wanted to start, so I made my husband pick a number. So I may do that every time. This is also very addictive, this pattern, because it's the 1/1, so it's not super full coverage, you see, so it looks kind of like, I don't know. I just really like the way it looks. Look at the owl. I just really like the way it looks, and it's addictive too because it's really, really nice fabric to stitch on. It's not super flimsy and limp, and it's definitely not hard. It's just super nice fabric to stitch on, and when you enjoy stitching on the fabric, it really, really helps. And then last night, well, you know what? I'll show you this real quick. This is a knitting project. I finished my socks, as you know, so I decided to start socks for my sister for Christmas. And I'm gonna knit her 2 pairs. And this is the first pair, and it is on, this first one is on Dream in Color Smooshy and Purple Rain. I'm just using 1.5 circulars, what I always use, 72 stitches. But I'm using a pattern that I never stitched, and I got it from Spring Fling when the Loopy U used to have Spring Flings in St. Louis. This says copyright 2008, so that sounds about right. That's how old this is. It is the Spring Fling toe up or top down socks. I do toe up. So these are socks I'm making for my sister in a very, 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 very dark purple. And I literally just have the toes. Just the toesies. Because, as I say every time, and I'm sure you get tired of hearing it, I do my own version of 2 at a time. A little piggy marker. Where I stitch toe to toe, foot to foot, heel to heel, leg to leg, cuff to cuff. That way I never get the dreaded second sock syndrome. And when I finish this, then they're finished roughly at the same, close to the same time, so then I get socks to wear sooner. But there is my sister's first pair of socks. Second pair of socks will be with Vintage Pearl, and I'm not quite sure what the pattern's called that I'll be using, but I'm gonna do these first and then knit her another pair. And if I can manage to squeak out a 3rd pair before Christmas, I will, but I'm not stressing it. I just wanna get these 2 done. So I will be knitting a bit more than usual, but I will have a bit more time than usual, so anyways. And now I'll show you what, so I finished a couple things. I finished my Zelda wreath the other week and was very relieved. I finished my pride piece, very relieved. So I thought, you know what? I've been meaning to stitch, my goal this year was to stitch my kits. Or things I had kitted. And I hadn't touched some. I have, Jesus Christ, I have an Autumn Lane, like Baba Yaga, the Dinosaur Alforce embroidery, 2 Mirabilias, Bella Filipina. Is that it? 5. And then I had a whale pattern kitted up that Kaylee 10 Stitch did for me. So I had another one in there, but I decided, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I decided I don't want to do that one anymore. So I was going through my things and I was like, man, I just finished 2 things that had driven me crazy. I love them both, but it kind of drove me crazy. And I didn't really feel like starting a woman. So that knocked off 3 of my options. And then I thought, well, I shouldn't start my owl force until my other owl force is done. So that knocked off some more options. And I was like, you know what? I'm really digging my monstrous wonder whale, and I love whales, and I'm doing the whale Kaylee made me. So what I mean by what Kaylee made me is, so we all know this magazine. I love this magazine. This is a summer 2022, and it had a punch needle, Star Spangled Shoal by Michelle Palmer. I loved it. I don't punch needle. I have real no desire to learn to punch needle. I lamented about how much I love this pattern. So Kaylee said, hey, if you get permission from the designer, I can turn that into a cross stitch for you. And the designer, Michelle Palmer, said, yeah, do it. Great. So thank you, Michelle. Kaylee turned that into a cross stitch for me. So I started it. So it calls for DMCs, color variations, and Coloris. I'm pretty sure I've used variations before, but I don't think I've ever used Coloris. But anyways, so I got some hand dyed for the whale, because look how freaking fabulous he is. I'm gonna use, let me show you. Now I want back in because I don't have the bag with the fabric, with the yarn, Jesus, the thread in it. One moment, I'm sorry for the shaky. I'll let them in now since the trash men are gone. Sorry, guys. Come on, puppies. You're the one who yelled at me. Pretty sure they all heard you yell at me. So why are you staring there? Okay. No, you don't get treats for coming inside. Okay. Sorry about that. This hand. It's General Art, Fisherman's Wharf. I don't have it on me. But, and then the rest is DMC. So I started it last night, and I'm just using, because it's going to be full coverage. Okay. Full coverage. So I wasn't worried about the fabric, so I decided just to use that shitty Fangirl Fibers fabric, 32 count linen I got from her crappy Christmas box. Pretty sure it was a Christmas box. There was a Halloween box. Oh my god. Halloween box? I think it was Halloween. It left such a small impression on me, you guys, that I can't remember which box it was. It was very disappointing. Anyways, that's my opinion. If you love Fangirl Fibers, good for you. I'm happy you enjoy them. Her yarn looks great. Anyways, there it is. It's 32 count linen. It's like not a fun linen to stitch on, but it's going to be great to use up full coverage and won't go to waste. And it's actually not that bad to stitch on, really, if I get it taut enough. I have to get it really taut. But yeah, so I started the bottom. See? I started right. Where did I start? Here. So there's that, and there's a first little fishy, and then that little fishy. And I'm gonna try to save the whale for last because he's gonna be my favorite part because I love him. Oh, I love him so much. But he's also freaking huge, so I may do him in chunks. Yeah. So. Oh. Those little fishy. So yeah, I started that last night. And that's my whips, that's my FFOs, that's my projects. Let's see, what have I got to talk about? Haul, nothing. I do have one thing coming from 123 Stitch. I have the pig pattern from Darling Whimsy Designs coming because I wanted it. and it's cheap. So, yeah. What else? So I said there was a giveaway, so I'll go ahead and do that now. So I was going through my kits and I realized that I liked this and I had planned to stitch it. It came with the DMC and the fabric. I'm keeping the fabric for me because it's the only opal fabric I have. So I'm gonna use it for something. But I won't stitch this. It's To All a Good Night by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So if you want this, I will mail it anywhere. I do not care. It is just a pattern. Just tell me the word night, please. And it'll be yours. I mean, it's so cute. It is. But I'm not going to stitch it. I mean, God, just thought of stitching. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot, really. But all that sky, I don't know. I don't want to do it. I mean, stitch count's only 66 by 118. It's not that big. But I don't want it. But it's so cute. Look at him, he's so cute. And then if you used a nice fabric, like they called for the white opal linen to be all shimmery because all that white's not stitched, that'd be really pretty. I mean, all that white's not stitched, just the blue. Anyways, say night and it's yours. All right, so now my plans. So talking to my friend, and I said that I know a lot of people do sampler September. I've decided to do smalls September because I have so many patterns and I'm gonna have a little more time in my hands. And I just like the idea of having some smalls because I feel like a lot of things I have aren't that small. And it's nice just to have a couple smalls going. A couple of these smalls I will have done in a matter of days. But anyways, so I'm doing smalls September. And for sure I'm gonna start one every week. Every Friday? Starting on the 1st, I think. Yeah. Instead of starting Monday, I'm going to start on Friday since that's the 1st. Anyways. So, for sure, I'm going to do the Quirky Quaker Pig, which I don't have. It's coming. And then I'm going to do, for sure, this Mill Hill Snowman that Steph Total Stitch Show sent me. This will be my first Mill Hill that has pieces. Like, I'm pretty sure the mittens and maybe the hat are done separately and then put on. Is it the hat that's done separately? Yep. So that'll be a first for me. And then I'm for sure going to do Wave by Trina Mastakova, Fireplace Hobby. I'm going to do that. So that's 3. So that leaves me with 2 more to do. And I have a handful of what are my smaller patterns. And I haven't decided which ones I'm going to do. If you see one you think I should do, let me know. Because I am looking to slot in 2. I can add them at the end of the month. So it's either By the Bay Needle Art, Funky Flowers Jessica. Sorry, these are all in their plastic. I keep them in a folder. There's number 1, Tales from the Sea, Fragments in Time by Summerhouse Stitchwork. Look at that. It's another whale. I should do that, just keep my whale thing going. But I'm gonna let you guys tell me. I'm gonna see what you guys think. I may totally ignore you. You never know. I may be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing these. Anyways, Weep Alone from Darling and Whimsy Designs. Never Forget DNA Dough Project from Pumpkin Creek Primitive. Or The Lovely Mermaid from Stitchy Princess Black. Stitchy Princess on Etsy. A lot of water themes going on here. I got this and a whale. I guess it's just 2. This and a whale. Felt like a lot. Anyways, look at that pretty mermaid. And this doesn't show it, but on the pattern there's like, what the hell is that? Octopuses, like little octopi in the corners to make it more like rectangle. So those are my options. If you see any of these you would like to see me stitch, let me know. Otherwise I'll just pick them out randomly later or whatever. I just like, because you know, I want that. So mermaid. Remember the Forgotten? Weep Alone. Fragments in Time. Whale. Oh. Tales from the Sea. Whatever. Or Funky Flower. Those are my plans. That's my only real plans. My birthday's in September. I don't really have any plans to do a September start because I'm going to do all these smalls. I don't think my birthday's on a Friday. Not that matters because that's when I'm starting those. Oh my God, my brain. Yeah, I think last year for my birthday, did I start Nefertiti? Maybe I'll work on Nefertiti, my Haid, on my birthday because that my poor beautiful woman's being neglected. And let's see. That's all I have for you, I guess. So it's life update time. Hey guys, life update time. I don't know what's going on. I quit my job. 19th was my last day. Woo! That's nice, you guys. So now I'm a stay-at-home mom to an ailing beagle who is snoring. But that's why I'll have a little more time on my hands. I got a lot to do. I am finally going to organize and clean this friggin' mess of a house. I have so much crap piled up that needs to be gone through and tossed and organized. I mean, the fabric for my sewing alone is insane. Just insane. Insane. So I quit my job. My kid started college. We took her to Wright State on the 23rd. That was her move-in day. And then my husband and I, our son went too, helped her move in. We ate dinner together. He came home, watched the Beagles, while my husband and I stayed in the Dayton area for our anniversary, which was the week before. And I tried to talk him into going to Keepsakes in Cincinnati, but that did not work out. One day I'll get there. My kid goes to school close enough. One day I'll get there. But we biked. You guys, it was like 95 degrees. And I have not biked consistently enough to handle 95-degree weather in Hills of Doom. I walked my bike so much, it was frustrating. But it was nice to see. It was pretty. We tried to see the Wright Memorial, but we got there on our bikes like 3 minutes before they closed the park. So anyways. And then we went to Clifton Gorge, which is nearby. And oh my God, gorgeous. So many trails to walk. So I would love to go back and do it again, which I hope we will get a chance to since we're visiting our daughter for the next 4 years. But I'm a dummy and I was not properly hydrated and I had not eaten enough. So when we got there, I ate a protein bar. And then I had to wait a half hour before I can drink. So then I started drinking my water. And then just like literally my whole body was soaked in sweat. Because again, it was like 95 degrees. I was just soaked in sweat. And then towards the end, we're going to go, I don't know how far. We weren't that far from the end of our trail. And then you had to take a trail back to our parking lot. And towards the end of our trail, I was so hot and sweaty, and then I just got freezing and sweaty. And I was like, well, that's not good. So then my husband texted me, and he's like, you're ice cold. I was like, yeah, that's probably not good. So I started eating another protein bar, and I ate that while we finished our walk, and we got to a parking lot where we're supposed to start the next trail back to our parking lot. And I told my husband, I said, I'm just going to sit here. You finish because you can walk that and like fit. He walks so fast when I'm not with him. I was like, you can get there in like 15, 20 minutes and then bring the car to me and I'll cool down and whatever. So I did that. I had to sit there in the parking lot, cool off, eat my, get my body back into normal. I mean, it would have been concerning if I had stopped sweating, but I was still sweating. I had just got freezing, and I read later that's like a sign of blood sugar drops. So I was eating a protein bar, so things were okay. I felt bad because that was 2 things in a row. I felt like I ruined. Our biking it didn't stop prematurely, but I slowed us down by having to walk up a giant hill, stopping a lot. I was tired and hot and sweaty, and I couldn't change my gears because my hand was super sweaty. And then we did the main trail we wanted to do at the Clifton Gorge, but I couldn't do the back trail because, again, didn't feel good. My husband reassured me everything's fine, and he wasn't upset or disappointed in me, but I felt like hot garbage because I felt like I let him down, and you know how that is. Let's see. Between doing all this, we lounged in our hotel room. I got my husband, finally took him to the Taiwanese bakery where I always bring him back bows and pork floss buns and then random assorted goodies. And he went in there and he's like, I'm just gonna get like a pork floss bun. I'm like, this is how I always think too. I'm just gonna get a one bao and a pork floss bun, and then I walk out with 35 things. Partly because everything looks so good, so fresh, and so cheap. Like, he had food. We were there for 3 nights. He had food to last him from that bakery alone if we had not eaten out or anything. He bought so much stuff, and it was so cheap and so delicious because I made sure I took a bite of everything because that's how I am. But, so he was excited because he finally got to go to the Taiwanese bakery. And then me and my daughter and her roommate, her friend from here in town, is her roommate, one of her best friends. We took him on a tour of the campus because he has, as much as I've been going there with my kid for like the past year and a half, my husband had never been. So we took him for a little tour, and, you know, he liked the campus and he's excited for our daughter. And then we helped move her into her dorm. We took her to the store to buy things she needed that we hadn't got. And then we took her to the other store and got her food. Basically, cheeses, dairy products. I got her tea, so much goat cheese that I don't know. And then random cheeses. I don't know how she's going to poop. But, yeah. And then I got her and her roommate and their sweet mate some pizza so they get to know each other. Since like first grade, I've made my daughter chocolate chip cookies for her first day, and I couldn't do that this year, so I went to a local bakery, Mama's Bakery, and I got 2 chocolate chip and 2 s'mores chocolate chip cookies for her. And then I was like, well, since I'm here, I got her some Buckeyes, and then I got her an assortment of cupcakes to share with her roommate, sweet mate, and her other 2 friends that are going to school there. And of course, I got treats for me and my husband. I got a lemon cupcake. Oh my god, so good. What else? And then we said goodbye. We saw her one last time. I dropped off the goodies, told her not to eat the cookies until Monday, which she did. She did. She did not eat until Monday. And then my husband and I went to the Wright Brothers Memorial. And we looked at that, and then they had this cool little museum in there, and that was fun. We didn't spend a lot of time because that was our day to come home, Saturday. And then we went to the Air Force Museum, which it's free and friggin' huge. We did not make a dent in it because I started to feel like I needed to eat. I was like, it's time for me to eat. So instead of going to like the cafe they have there, my husband's like, we'll just go get something to eat and head home because we can come back here anytime we visit our kid because it's free and it's right up the street. So, like, we barely made it into, like, the Cold War. And we skipped World War II somehow. I'm not sure where those planes are at. Anyways, so yeah, that was awesome. Very neat. We didn't even get the chance to look at all the stuff they had outside. So, yeah, we'll be going there again. I recommend anyone go there because it's, like, I'm not big on the military. I have a big chunk of my family's been in one military or the other. My brother and his wife are actually in the Air Force, or they were in the Air Force. So I took a picture and I was like, thinking of you guys. But like, I'm not in the military. I just really like planes. I just think they're really cool. I don't like flying. I don't like being on high very much, but planes are cool. So that was fun. That was ranty. Sorry about that. And then we came home, and here I am. And I don't have to work tomorrow. And it's weird because it would have been 7 years in October I had that job. So this is very weird. And that is, I brought you up to date. There's nothing going on. My birthday's the 19th. Usually I make my kids watch one of my favorite movies. I was going to make them watch Excalibur, but my kids are not here. My son practically lives at Grandma and Grandpa's house now because he works at my grandpa's garage. At Grandpa's garage. It's not a real garage. It's just the big giant garage he has to work on stuff. And my son takes on odd jobs there. And Grandma loves having him around. So he practically lives over there. He'll come home every couple weeks. And then obviously my daughter's in college, so I'm kind of alone. My husband was worried I'd get lonely. I feel wholehearted because I didn't even cry when we left my daughter. I thought I would, but I didn't. I guess I'm more excited for her than sad that she's gone. She told me her first day yesterday was great. So, you know, starting off good. What was I going to say? I got sidetracked. And my brain just came to a dead halt. My kids aren't here. Oh, my birthday. So I may make my son come back to watch. I was going to make him watch Excalibur. It's one of my favorite movies. But my kid is actually coming back from college with her friends that weekend. The weekend of that week. Because our town has a pumpkin festival. It's a hot mess. It's only good for the food. But she's coming back with her friends for that. So I may postpone and make them watch Excalibur with me that weekend. We'll see. And then my son and I are going to watch Flashback Cinemas sometime next month. They're showing Terminator. I prefer Terminator 2, but Terminator 1's a classic. And I was never able to watch it until probably my 20s without closing my eyes during that scene where he cuts around his eye. Like, I wasn't even sure all was going on, other than as soon as he starts cutting around his eye, even though it's clearly fake, I was like, nope, can't do it, can't watch it. But, so I'm excited to take my son to that. My son's excited to see that. So that's all the plans I have, really, is movie watching. And hopefully I'm going to do a lot more crafting now that I have more time. Okay, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, if you would like this pattern from Autumn Lane Stitchery, say the word night. Leave the word night. If there's any of these patterns you prefer you see me stitch, let me know. And I will see you guys again in a week. Bye.